Hey, it's Soul. And as you stare at what looks like, oh, I don't know, like the second stage form of Tier 7, I don't know, something like that, I want to talk about the fate of Xe'ra. It's a cutscene that was just unlocked with the launch of 7.3 as we started to progress through the August storyline. There's a certain cutscene, and I'm going to link it below, and if you've seen it already, cool, or if you've played through it and witnessed all that has happened, sweet. So it's dead, she's dead, it's dead. I don't even know if it has like a gender or if that thing counts. Spoilers, by the way. Haha. um, I want to talk about just well, like kind of what the impact is, and one. Well. First off, do I give a shit about this? The quick answer is yes, I definitely do, and it's because it kind of rewrites not exactly retcons, but it sort of rewrites what we had thought was going to happen based on the Illidan book. Because during the Illidan book, who's right back there, Illidan, he talked with Xe'ra. They had a little chit chat up in space, where Xe'ra was like, "Hey, you know what? You're gonna be like the chosen one. You're gonna be like a thing of the light and." Something or other, he's going to be the chosen one. And a lot of us in the fandom were like, ugh, that's so goddamn cheesy. So with this particular cutscene, it turns out that Illidan Illidan's just being Illidan, I guess, and he just decided to I beam the fuck out of her instead of embrace the light. But I want to go over like just how it is that Xe'ra tried to get Illidan to embrace the light, and it wasn't really embrace the light. It was more like I'm gonna wrap it around you and strangle the fuck out of you with it until you submit. And so the question here is, what is the light and what is the void in this case? Because it's kind of hinting to me at least that instead of just talking about light versus dark or what is typically understood as good versus evil, these are simply two opposing forces that are of certain colors, and they're just clashing together. But it's people like us, or people like Illidan and everyone here on the ship that are just caught in the middle of this galactic titanic struggle of what's going on, and we're just being tools. That's kind of how I'm starting to see it. And what this does, in the way that I see it from a storytelling standpoint, is that it helps to expand on the story itself. Because now, people are like, oh my god, the Void Lord's this, the Void Lord's that. People are very scared of that boogeyman. And we're expecting, hey, we're going to move on to that next. We're going to start dealing with the old gods and other such things. Without knowing everything that's going to happen, for sure in Legion, without knowing what other surprises or twists that might occur, because for all we know, there might be some. For all we know, there might be something that we deal with the Naaru. We might deal with not exactly like Dark Naaru or anything, but we might deal with Naaru as they are. But they just happen to have an agenda that conflicts with what we want. Illidan obviously didn't want to do as he was told. He already did that with Sargeras, and now he is what he is, and he had to fight for his freedom and so on and so forth. Obviously, he didn't want to submit himself to Xe'ra, and we can see that in one of several ways. Like, one, it's what I was talking about. He's like, fuck you, you can't do what you tell me. I ain't gonna do what you tell me. Or it's, who knows, it might be some sort of like fell influence, like this natural clash. I don't know. Maybe it's like a natural enemy sort of thing. But I don't know. I guess I'm leaning more towards Illidan just not wanting someone to control him, which obviously Xe'ra was trying to do. The other thing to point out is that Turalyon, you would see like in his eyes, he had a certain glow in his eyes that I didn't notice until that cutscene, where it's like super gold, and it has that hint that, oh wow, that's a little bit unnatural. But especially after Xe'ra was destroyed, that glow went away. So that tells me that maybe Turalyon wasn't entirely like mind controlled, but he was he was under Xe'ra's influence in some way, shape, or form. So it makes me wonder. It's like, well, if the light is so good and all that, well, hey, he's sitting down. If the light is so good, then why does Xe'ra have to like exert this sort of influence over Turalyon? He should just loyally follow, and there we go. But now, but it also makes me wonder who else might have been under Xe'ra's influence, if anybody. Maybe everyone was just following Terralion because, hey, cool, he's such a cool and gruff and charismatic guy. Of course they're going to follow him. But so now we're gonna have to see like what comes after this. You know, what's going to be the follow up with a Terralion post Xe'ra addiction influence sort of thing. But I'm very curious. I'm very anxious about what is going to happen with the Naaru themselves. Are they going to continue to be like just this fixed this fixture of the light where, you know, following them is ultimately going to be a good thing, or is, you know, or are the Naaru just like another form of subjugation, you know, some higher power that's influencing the mortal races into doing their bidding for the sake of who knows. At least the way that I like to see it when it comes to like those cosmic beings and the Void Lords and I guess the Naaru as well, and to the Titans to a large extent. You know, they have motivations that go well beyond a mortal's understanding. You know, they go about things in very different ways that we just don't get. That we, as even as players, you know, we just don't understand what the heck they're trying to do. So I don't know. Like, what do you guys think of this whole cutscene and what it means? Do you think it's just very surface? It's just like, oh, Illidan just wanted to kill her because he just didn't want to be, he just didn't want to do what he was told, or is there more to the Naaru, you know, than meets the eye? I think there's potential there for a lot more story writing and you know, an expansion that's based on, I don't know, fighting the Naaru or something like that. So anyway, that's me talking. Share your thoughts and stay breezy. He's so thick, like meh.